So, what's your name?
Tyler Samuelson.
Yeah, and where do you work?
I am the CEO for Summit Contracting.
And what does Summit Contracting do?
Summit Contracting is a general contractor in the Midwest, and we primarily focus on things that get built on the farm, grain systems, confinements, any type of building structure that gets built on a farm.
If I'm a farmer, why should I choose Summit?
We pride ourselves on our quality, our people, just doing things the right way, offering the right products, going back to just doing things the right way, right?
Yeah. All right, Tyler, what were you looking for when you hired John?
I think what I was looking for then and what I'm looking for now is different. I think for then we were looking for direction and advice. Didn't really necessarily understand what business coaching was. We've never had a business coach. I don't know if we had crazy expectations, right? I would say what we've gained from hiring John is probably the bigger, more impactful question I'm sure you're going to get to.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. What did working with me make possible for you? How did your life improve?
I think the biggest thing is just completely opened up my eyes and several people on my team's eyes as far as to possibilities, other things that we should be considering. I know we've improved our policies, our procedures through, different suggestions that you've had. I've wanted to get into better mental, physical shape for years, and I've always put it off. I now also have a personal fitness coach. It's pretty new to me within the last couple of weeks. I'm more dedicated to changing my lifestyle. And I honestly don't know that I would have done that without just some of the comments you made about coaches, and busy people need coaches and they need people to hold them accountable and to show them what the possibilities are, what our business has done since you guys started working with us. I think a lot of it, we had the ability, we had the capability. We just, I don't know, maybe needed to be shown that we could do it.
Going back to the personal improvements with the mental health improvements, the physical health improvements, what has your family noticed about that? What has your wife noticed? What have your kids noticed?
I think that I'm just around a lot more. I have way less days where I come home like, oh boy, don't talk to dad today. He must have had a tough day. Where, I'm not saying they don't happen from time to time, but I think my wife would attest that they don't happen nearly as often as they used to. That's for sure. And I think a lot of that had to do with just giving up some responsibility, to some of my other team members. And I think they would say the same, that I hope they feel the same. So yeah, just on the, mentally, I'm able to leave my work at work a lot better than I used to. I don't find myself going into the office on the weekends, hardly ever. Probably even getting home just a little bit earlier than I used to.
Let's shift back to the business. What have been some notable business achievements while you've been working with me?
Just growth, adding more people to the team, seeing the value and adding some, high caliber people. We've completely rethought about what it means to hire expensive people, and what expensive people, instead of being afraid of what it's going to cost to get them, now it's more of a mind shift on what it's going to cost us if we don't get them.
How has that helped? The context in which we're talking is people are worried about an economic downturn. There's lots of people coming into the labor market because of large company layoffs and so forth. And also in your context, right, you are in a smaller city in South Dakota where, the population to draw from isn't large. So how has that mind shift helped you with hiring in that environment?
I think we've just decided that if there's somebody that we feel would be a valuable asset to our team, we just go get them. And we're almost relentless on going to get them, doing whatever we have to get them, because we know the value it's going to bring for our company. We feel we're really close. We often sit around the table and think about other people within our community and people that are in great positions or could be in better positions. And we ask ourselves, would they be a great fit for our team? Do they have the culture fit? We feel we're really close to probably tapping out our market as far as available to still come work for Summit out of Platte. Now that we have other markets, that's definitely going to expand. But here in Platte, we're 1,300 people and that's it. And we're a company of nearly 140. So we've got everybody that we want out of Platte, I think.
Got it. Let's look to the past. What was Summit Contracting and what was your life like before you started working with me?
Oh, it was very reactive. It was a lot of chaos. It was a lot of, we were still growing, we were still successful, but I would say it was uncontrolled. It was, I don't know if the right word to say it is kind of forced growth, so a lot of it came from we want to get bigger. We just need to work harder. And if that's not working, then we need to work harder. And I know we've talked about this with you that just working harder isn't necessarily always the answer. There's working harder, and then there's working hard, and there's working smarter.
How did you manage to find that balance, the right balance between work hard and work smart?
I think the proof was just in the results. You convincing us to try it, bringing on additional people that were specialized. I think the loves versus lows in the very beginning was a huge turning point for our entire organization. Like I'll go to Abby, right? I don't know that we ever would have really kind of thought about hiring a payroll clerk, but when Abby said, literally, if there was one thing I could take away that would, just make me love my job that much more, it would be I just don't want to do payroll.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was, well, geez, she's spending a crap load of time on payroll. And your message that Abby hates payroll, but believe it or not, there's somebody out there that really likes payroll. And that's all we had to do. We just had to go look for somebody that really likes to do payroll, and she does. And the best part is she doesn't want to work any harder than she's a little bit older lady, and she doesn't want to work any harder than whatever it takes to do our payroll. And as we continue to grow and she's got to put a few more hours in a week, she's fine with it. But some weeks she works 30 hours, some weeks she works 25, some weeks it's closer to 40, right? Depending for reporting and different things. And so all of a sudden it was like, we got somebody that's willing to work as hard as she needs to get done whatever it is we need to get done. And Abby no longer has to do it. Abby's happy. Our payroll clerk is happy. Loves versus lows.
How about you using the love versus loathe tool? What did you take off of your loathe list?
The thing that was always dragging me down was just the day-to-day, like in our business, there's always a problem. Every day there's a problem to get solved. And I think my personality, just the way I am, I'm always I'm more of a just figure it out type of person. Whereas Jared's personality is more of a like, hey, let me get into the weeds with you and let's figure it out together. I'll help you, through these situations every day, whether they're big or small. And that's actually something that he likes to do. And I hate it. Like, I don't like other people's problems. I like to be focused on the things that I need to get done. And I'm terrible at someone comes to me with a problem. I'm just like, yeah, you think you got problems. Like, I don't care. Just figure it out. Right. And I don't mean that to be insensitive. It's just how my brain works.
Yeah. You're largely operating outside the business now. You've been freed up to do things that are in your unique ability. What are those things you've been freed up to do?
So I love it when I think it's comical, right? So one of my best friends is Matt Storm, which is Abby's husband, and we're together a lot, right? And he's often around me when people come up, and we're just having a general conversation, and I get asked probably at least once a week. It seems like I always get asked if Matt's around. Tyler, what is it that you do at Summit? And I love how Matt just jumps in anymore, and he goes, Tyler's in mergers and acquisitions.
Yes.
And I think it's funny because it almost kills the conversation because people are like, yeah, I really don't know what that means. And I guess I'll just leave it at that. And I love it because I don't know exactly what it is that I do every single day, but I do know that I do just what you said. I hardly do anything in the business anymore. I'm working way more on what our business looks like in the future, whether that be a merger or an acquisition or just the direction of our growth or where we're going to put future locations, why we're picking this location over another one. We had plans to put a location in Aberdeen this year, and within the last few weeks, I've put those on hold because I don't feel that we've got a couple of our current locations up to snuff just yet. And I've told my people, hey, I know we all want to be in Aberdeen, but we can't just keep adding locations for the sake of adding locations if we don't have our current ones, running in the right direction. Staff, culture, work ethic. And so we're gonna take a pause here, and we're gonna, till I feel like we've got all those things up to snuff. That's what we're gonna focus on, right? And I think before, I probably would have been, when I was working more in the business, it was hard to see that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question. What would you say to a fellow entrepreneur about working with me as a coach? Why hire John?
Well, anytime I talk to an entrepreneur about a coach, I simply tell them this: working with a coach, or deciding to work with a coach, is the first step. And then you have to just decide on who that coach is going to be. I always recommend you to everybody that I talk to about getting a coach. But then I also tell them almost what you told us from the beginning is, you're not going to be the perfect fit for everybody. There's different coaches for different people. But I always go back to, when people ask me, they love to ask me the question, what is the single best thing that you've done in your business? Because everyone sees our growth, right? So they always want to know, what's a single thing that you've done over the last 14, 15 years now that you would say has contributed to your success? And it's a simple answer for me. It really is: hire a coach.